Hello, good morning. Welcome to Morning Pages. How are we today? Hope this video finds you well. My name is Nicola McKenna and I live and work in Dublin, Ireland. And I teach the Artist's Way. Do you know the Artist's Way? Julia Cameron's 12-week program for creative recovery. And there's a couple of tools involved. One's Artist States and one is Morning Pages. Artist States is not about dating an artist. It's not. It's about investing time in yourself and the things that your artist, your creative inside values and cherishes. And not everybody's going to see it that way. So you kind of have to take yourself off on your own and do something that this person values and cherishes. Okay. So that could be sewing sock puppets. It could be going to a pantomime on your own. Oh, shocker. I know. It's terrible. So part of Artist States is to get past that discomfort, the deep discomfort that many of us feel doing things solo. It's to get us to the other side. The other side of the is freedom, choice. With these things also comes acceptance, acceptance of the pantomime, acceptance of the people putting it on, acceptance of oneself and what this heart desires, acceptance that not everybody's going to like the French film that you really, really need to see, the trilogies. Nobody's going to sit with you. Not everybody's going to sit with you. So you have to kind of sit with that yourself, sit with that discomfort. And often it takes the first 15 minutes or so to sit down. And yeah, it might feel a bit uncomfortable at the start going to an event on your own. But if you look around, you'll see that nobody's really bothering with you. Nobody cares about it, only yourself, you know. And once the performance starts and you get distracted and your inner child gets fed, oh my goodness, wow. That little creative genius goes, "Yay, you haven't forgotten me. You remembered me. You remembered that I love French trilogies," you know, or whatever it happens to be. Whatever it happens to be, what is your ideal artist state? The reason I ask is because this week was all about my own artist states. A couple of very intense couple of weeks. And after intense weeks, we do need a little healing. We do need a little compassion. The outside world's not going to bring that. Okay, let's just be honest. So we have to bring it to ourselves. We have to bring that compassion to ourselves. So this week, on the top of my diary, it said compassion and artist states. Okay. Now that's all very well. It's all very predictive and optimistic and hopeful. But there's always going to be good, better, and best. Okay, best is doing something compassionate every single day for 7 days. Better is managing a prayer once a day, or an artist dates every day, or watching a film at home. But good is often good enough. And this week, there was very little compassion and very few artist states, but I did enough. I had enough artist states. One artist state was watching The Big Bang Theory, okay, which always feeds me. It always feeds the oddball inside me. Another one was while I was exercising, I was listening to a brand new artist I've never listened to, a recording artist I've never listened to before. I listened to her whole album. Okay. So artist states like that, simple, lifestyle ready artist states are often enough to keep the wolf from the door. It's enough to feed that creative inside you. Okay. So we're not looking for ideal. Far from it. Sometimes we're just keeping the wolf from the door. And that is enough then to empower us to do more. Go, God, I really like this artist, you know. I might see about getting a ticket to see her perform. Or I might buy all of her albums, might listen to all of her albums, you know. So it's about treating your artist, your creative, and and giving her things that will indulge her and treat her, you know. Often those words are treated with circumspection and a little bit of care and, ooh, indulging a child, treating a child. Oh, you don't want to spoil them. Well, you do want to spoil this one. You do want to spoil this one. You want to talk about that again. Now it's 6 past the hour. Who do we have on? Cass. Hello, how are you? Yeah, weird French films. Bring them, bring them on. Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. Huh? Remember that one? I think that was a two-parter, or maybe it was three-parter. I don't know. Now we are going to start our morning pages. Okay, so I want you to get ready. I'm going to just get comfortable. It's incredibly warm here in Dublin. Not complaining, not complaining. Just going to do my pages here, okay? I like showing you when I do pages so that you can maybe get inspired to see that even when the boredom hits, in my case, I just have to keep moving my hand. I just have to keep going, you know, and that's part of the persistence through this practice. And once we start persisting through the discomfort and the boredom, you'll find that magic does happen, you know. So I urge you to start writing and to keep writing through these 45 minutes, you know. Are we ready for some timed 45 minutes? And then at the end, we do a quick review, okay? Ready? Okay, off we go. And best of luck. Here's your 45 minutes. Enjoy. Enjoy. Start with the physical. I feel hot. I need some shoes. Whatever it is. Or look outside and describe what's going on. Okay? Just 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left, okay, of the pages. Boredom can slow us down a little bit towards the end. Just keep going, push through. There we go. There we go. Grab another pen if you like. And what we're going to do is 7 minutes of review. Okay, so we go back over the pages that we've done. Anything that's jumping out at you, surprising you, delighting you, maybe things I forgot that I needed to remember, or it could even be a task that you need to do today. Take it and circle it, okay? We're only doing this for 7 minutes, starting now. Oh, yeah. Nearly there. 10 seconds left. Come on, push on. That's it. Yeah. All right. Okay, your 7 minutes of review are done. Huh? Let me just do that, yeah. Congratulations. We did pages this morning. Congratulations. Sit with this for a second and just everything else can wait. Just sit with this for a second and go, I have done this. I've spent 45 minutes with myself in safety and in community. Sit with this and let it sink in what you've just done. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Well done. Congratulations. Pat on the back. If you can pay this credit to yourself as well, join me in paying that credit. It's not often we pay ourselves credit. Okay, it's allowed. Once a week, it's allowed. Okay, congratulations. Hope that went well for you. I can stay on for a minute or two if you would like to chat, and if not, that's okay. I understand it's 11 o'clock here in Dublin, and I've kept you for an hour. So, how did you find that? How did you find that? Whether you were doing pages or whether you were doing something else creatively, let me know in the comments how that went for you. Or send up a little heart. Ooh, big, big, big hearts for me. It's been a while since this has happened for me, okay? So, in the book, The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron talks about why we're going to 3 pages, okay? Typically, the first page and a half is kind of whining, complaining, moaning, kind of focusing on the unhelpful stuff or, getting all that out, clearing the pipes, so to speak, clearing the pipes. And today, when I did my review, I was surprised at how much kind of upwardly thinking, optimistic, forward thinking things were coming out of me. And then I saw that the first page and a half, first 2 pages, in fact, were about dumping. Very much, very, very focused on just clearing the not negativity, but the drained stuff, the expression of gosh, I'm feeling drained about this happened, and as a result I'm still not on my feet, things like that all came out in the first 2 pages, a good solid 2 pages. Now if I had been starting my pages and thinking that it's going to be creative or beautiful or poetic, no, that's not what morning pages is for. It's to clear the pipes and let other things in, let other things out. That's what we are. We are just conduits. We're just conduits, and sometimes we just need to flush, hit the flush button and see what comes out. That's kind of disgusting. I know. So that's what's come out for me. An awful lot of, because this week was more about just maintenance. Um, Keeping the wolf from the door, doing the bare minimum in order to do the day job, in order to get sleep, get a bit of exercise, all of those basics. Today was this whole week was about keeping the wolf from the door in my life. So what I found came out in my pages is you did great on this, that, and the other, and this is working. The big takeaway from me was this is working. And it was also a few bits and pieces, a few tasks came out. Don't forget to do this, that, and the other. That came out a lot today. So what I found was when they were coming up, I spotted them quite early and I ended up putting them immediately up into the margins so that I wouldn't necessarily have to underline them another time. I knew all these are the tasks you have to order such and such from Vistaprint. You have to do a review of such and such, and I have to complete a few purchases and bits and pieces for a show that's coming up. So things like that, they were like automatic tasks, and I knew just put them over to one side. You don't have enough potatoes. Put that up to one side. That's an auto. Sometimes these thoughts come up and they're automatic. It's easy. What another thing came up was that I am anxious to see friends. I have a lot of friends in the UK, and I am looking for another excuse to fly over there and just meet them up for one day. But in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll go online and I'll meet them there. Fridays are great for us getting together. There's a lot of us come together and make and are creative on United Art Space, and we typically would meet on Friday at around 11 actually. So better get moving, and we all just work together in this virtual art studio. And some people are doing paperwork, and some people are doing studies. Other people are writing up copy for their sculptures or their show, and it's just a nice community to work in. And so I'm kind of missing that at the moment. Um, so Charlotte, you're on. Let me see what you're saying. Charlotte says, actually, although I don't do the writing, it makes me take time out to do some of the tasks I've been putting off. I love that, Charlotte. I think more power to you. If that is helpful to you, please keep coming. I'm so happy. And we talked about this before, the body doubling and the fact that just having someone else in the room helps, especially with the difficult tasks. And you obviously know United Art Space. And now on a Friday, well, it's 24/7 that they have this virtual art studio, but specifically on a Friday, the UK community come together at 11, and it's really nice. Charlotte, which is what I did today. It's a weird thing. Normally, I'd launch into work and ignore the small tasks, as always. But when I log on here, I always get some of those things done. Yes, the small irritating tasks. And I find as well that pages are great for that kind of thing because you can ignore those small tasks, just like you can ignore the uncomfortable feelings or horrible reminders or echoes of memories in the past. And it's so easy in everyday life, and it's just quicker just to focus on the big things and say, I'm going to kill off this project or this job today, and I'm going to feel better about myself. But when we sit down in community and when we work and say, there's safety here and there's privacy here, so that when I start wading through the uncomfortable feelings, the uncomfortable tasks, the small irritations that I've been procrastinating and putting off because it's difficult, it's hard. And when we do that together in safety, it means that we can try it in safety. We can try and take that little step. And if it doesn't work out, nobody will know. We can just keep trying. And what we're essentially doing there, Cass, is turning up in faith. We're turning up in faith, and I don't talk about like religion or anything. I mean like a gentle belief in this, in life, in the universe, whatever it happens to be. It's not necessarily a religious thing. But we're turning up in faith, and we're saying, I'm turning up. I'm going to try doing this small, difficult task that I've been procrastinating about for X number of weeks. And something comes to aid us. Some people call it the muse. Stephen Pressfield would call it the muse. Um, Mother Nature, God, divine power, higher power, intelligence, whatever it is, wisdom. Um, just slot in your own word. And that force comes to aid us because we're turning up in service. We're turning up and saying, "Look, I'll tackle the nasty little stingy little tasks." And guess what? When we started, it's not so stingy. Oh, it's actually all right. Oh, God, I managed to do that. I hope that that was your experience today, Cass. I really do hope that that's what you found. Cass says maybe I consider it non-work time. Yeah, sometimes we do have to kind of, tell ourselves, change the wording a little bit. Tell ourselves that it's not work time. That because I know that you and I, we live and work in the same place, and sometimes there can be no borderline or no distinctive crossover point from what's work and what's not work, what's play and what's business. I know that that's definitely the case with me. I'm trying to delineate things a little bit more, or even just become more aware of, this is my play. Okay, it will feed the business, but right now I'm just going to invest all of my time and my energy and joy into, getting playful joy out of this. So that's quite nice as well. Um, Charlotte says, as in non-client work time, but instead work on me and necessary things. But you are the source of the client stuff. Yeah. So once you're working on yourself, you're actually working on your business. You're working on your creativity and you're in service to your clients. You know, a lot of us are told that it's good, to focus on other people or to be productive and stuff. And feeding ourselves first means that we will give the best of ourselves to those clients, the best of ourselves to our relationships, because we're feeding ourselves first. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? It's just shocking. Self-care and compassion and play, just bring it. Feed that lovely, lovely child. Feed that lovely, lovely child that's still inside, you know? She's vital. She's full of power. She does need support. She just needs support and a wee bit of love and the big, 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 big hugs. The big hugs and lots of time as well. And that kind of ties into the artist states as well. A lot of people would see time like this where you're just giving 15 minutes to a meditation or 15 minutes to a walk out in nature. If you can reframe those into um, time alone with my artist, time alone where I'm looking at a daisy or something really fundamental, really flippin' basic, um, often that's enough to feed the creative inside us. And that creative takes it, we don't need to do much in order to feed that creative. And what we let's say we put in 15 minutes, it manages to generate enough energy to see us through the small and difficult tasks, the nasty client, the 1,200 emails toing and froing. We then have enough energy and enough enthusiasm for the job because we have given ourselves 15 minutes of a walk, 2 hours watching a film when we least wanted to do it. Last night, I took myself out on an artist date. I no more wanted to do it. I no more wanted to do it than the man in the moon. I remember sitting here at 6 o'clock last night wanting to go to bed. There's nothing I want to do. That's the message I kept telling myself. I do not want to do anything tonight. Thursdays are always my nights out of the house. I should get out, and it's when I don't have any family responsibilities. It was the last thing I wanted to do. But I had said it to my husband. He was on board, he was ready. And if I hadn't have pushed myself out the door, and it was a bit of a push, pushed myself out the door at 7 o'clock, I would have had him, a little, yeah, are you not doing it? If I hadn't done it, I'd still be sitting here miserable. Do you know what I mean? I have to push myself out the door sometimes to do artist dates. When I say artist dates, it was a bag of chips at the beach. That's what it was. It was a bag of chips, writing, doing pages actually, and thinking through some problems. I also brought with me a novel. Okay, and I was listening to Chapel Rowan, who I think is US, and she's the person who I listened to for the first time this week. I listened to her album, and I thought, if I turn up, it will get better. If I turn up and just say, "Look, I'm here. Okay, what more do you want? I'm here. I'm turning up. I'm doing it." That's the best I could do last night. But the muse came and helped me. I turned up in service. I don't really want to be here, but here I am. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start the engine. Going to drive to Skerries. You know, sat through the discomfort of ordering a bag of chips, southern fried breasted chicken, and sitting in the car. I did move it to the beach and sat in the car. The discomfort of going, I feel so self conscious. I feel quite self conscious. That didn't last long. It was there. It didn't last long. It wasn't the end of the world. So I sat with it. Waited until I had gotten all of the words out of me, all of the discomfort was out of me onto page. The belly was full, and eventually I locked the car and went on the beach and listened to Chapel. And I remember walking the beach and feeling lighter, driving home afterwards and going, God, you did a good job there. Yeah, you did a good job there. You sat through discomfort. You really did not want to be there. Then I had a great night. Everybody was in bed by the time I came back, and I sat down, opened up Apple TV, and uh, started watching season 2 of Bad Sisters. It was glorious. It was glorious. I was a different woman by the end of the night. I was a different woman. I was lighter, calmer, more at peace. You know, it's hard to take the first couple of steps. It really is. But sometimes we have to look for the evidence and just turn up in service and go, you know what, I have no expectations of this evening. I have no expectations, but I am going to do my part. I'm going to start the engine. I'm going to organize the childcare. I have no expectation, no hope, let's say. That's okay. You just turn up. You just turn up and say, "Here I am," you know? Now, Charlotte says, "Revolution, LOL. That reminds me of the other day when we went snorkeling at the beach. What?" I looked at the cold water and said to Jeff, "I'm not sure I want to do this." His reply was, "You always say that." Ah, dear. I love the honest spouses, the ones that kind of kick you out the door. Ah. And I thought, yes, he's right. And I never regret pushing myself to do it. Yeah, absolutely. Cass, I hear you. I hear I feel such discomfort sometimes. And I just want to climb in onto the duvet, you know? And it suddenly made it easier to get in the water. Yeah, it sounds like you've got great support, and sometimes we do need that support. We need that support. The pushy spouse or the housemate who says, "Come on now, a walk is good for you, and you really enjoy it, and you come back a different person." Damn it, if they're right. Of course they're blooming right. Love it, Nicola. Never regret pushing yourself to do things to experience life. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot to be said for it. I wanted to talk about Sharon Horgan. She's going to have to wait another day because she is just that epic. She deserves her own chat. I think we need to reintroduce those times where we have a little talk about a creative. At one point, we did a share one. At one point, I think we talked about Dolly Parton. I definitely want to talk about Sharon Horgan, who is a writer, actor, and producer. Don't know if she directs, whatever. She's from sunny Ireland, and she's been all over the telly and all over Apple TV and stuff the last X number of years, 10 or 20 years, and she's just produced a consistent body of work, and for that alone, I applaud her. I do love her acting style and her writing style, and I love her can-do attitude. And I'm sure there's been times where she has wanted to crawl under the duvet as well. We all do. Um, but yeah, let's talk about Sharon Horgan next week, shall I? Shall we? Maybe I will have watched a few more episodes of Bad Sisters, which is epic. If you haven't watched the first season, please do. It's deeply disturbing, but also hilarious, and features some beautiful North County Dublin scenery, which is where I live. So, Charlotte, it is my pleasure to have you. There's someone else on, and it is my pleasure to host this and to tell you my bits and pieces. I don't always do it in the most articulate way. I don't script this at all. It's just whatever comes out of me. So thank you for bearing with me and for hearing my story and just being here and supporting me. I hope I support you in your practice of morning pages, in your practice of living creatively and bringing compassion, discovering a little faith, building on that faith. I wish much more faith to you, much more compassion today and tomorrow and over the weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. Yeah. Thank you, Charlotte. It's so lovely to talk to you. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend and keep jumping in the water, yeah? Keep jumping in the water. Jeff, you know what the right thing is, don't you? Take care, and we'll see you next Friday. But let's talk about Sharon Horgan next week. Okay. All right. Bye. Take care. All the best. Bye bye.